My first save of FM24 is with the mighty Hammers of West Ham using the real world game mode. Me and Inch, as you can see on the right here, Ward-Prowse will join in August with Alvarez and Kudus, and Declan Rice is still at West Ham before his move to Arsenal. And the West Ham owner David Sullivan has asked us to get to the latter stages of the Europa League because of course we qualified through winning the Europa Conference League, record a Premier League top half finish, be competitive in the Cups. To do that, we've also been given another £24 million with a very favourable wage budget. Although I haven't got my heart set on it, I think a 4-3-3 kind of shape, however it looks when I actually eventually get to the games, will be the shape that I go to. There are obviously some weaknesses in this West Ham team that hopefully we can rectify with the money that we've been given, mainly up front, possibly at left back. I know that I've got James Ward-Prowse and Edson Alvarez to come into this midfield, might not look exactly like that, but I think Paqueta and Souček will play a big part in this season, as well as the rest of these players, maybe outside of Ings and Cresswell. The backroom staff isn't too bad. We are lacking that set-piece coach, which I'll look to get into quite soon. We've got more than enough coaches, which is fantastic. Not going to mess around with that, but we are lacking in the scouting department. I tell you what though, considering it's a brand new staff role, I'm quite surprised by the lack of set-piece coaches in the game. Like, I know there isn't a really popular thing going on right now, but set pieces and tactical knowledge, the two things you need for being a set-piece coach, and 0 found with 11 of each. Is this a joke? Okay, so I scrapped the idea of bringing one in. We're just going to go with what Billy McKinley wants to do. Set pieces of 9. Tactical knowledge isn't too bad of 14. So we'll stick with what he suggests first. I want to go hybrid. The post, I want to go near post. I think back post I'm okay with. I'd like to counter-attack. I think we've got the likes of Jarrod Bowen who could be quite quick on the counter-attack. How we want it to be delivered, I'm still thinking near post might be our best option. I think we balance it when we go up there, but we are going to be deadly from set pieces because we've got JWP, James Ward-Prowse coming in. So I don't really care whether it's in-swinger, out-swinger. I kind of want him to just take everything. I'll go out-swinger just for the time being because I think that's kind of what worked quite well. I do actually want to add a routine as well for short kicks, like the short out-swing or short in-swing. It's worked so good for me so far on this on FM24, so I want to keep that going. My next job was squad management, and there are a few players still here who I would be willing to sell, including Pablo Fornals, who is already wanted. I'm going to keep Ben Rama around for now, but it could be a player I sacrifice to bring in a better option throughout the window. We definitely need a few new scouts though before I go hunting for any new players, so let's try and bring a few in quickly. And there are some good options too, like Brendan McFarlane, who is not only has great attributes, but is only asking for 1.7k for wages. The much better scouts though did cost a lot more, however, but it's good to bring in a mix of different nations. Let's talk about the aim of this West Ham save though. Despite becoming European champions last season, West Ham finished down in 14th in the Premier League. So piggybacking off of that last season, I want to give myself 5 years. I think within that time I could be challenging for the Premier League with West Ham. Maybe even pick up a Europa League on the way. So with all that outrageous and unrealistic targets being set, it's back to business, and I think I need to hire an intermediary to offload Fornals, as no offers have come in from the transfer room. So the intermediaries I think are very good. However, in the first season, not a lot of clubs have any money. It's only really the bigger clubs, and they don't exactly want to pay for Fornals. So I think we are going to struggle, and we've only got loan offers coming in right now. £3.2 million across 6 months. We have to pay 8% anyway, and then there's an optional future fee of £3.9 million. He is an important player, but they're only paying 20% of his wages. I don't really want to accept that. I don't think that's a good enough offer. I'd rather just keep him and then maybe, you know, extend his contract or just let him go on a free. I'd rather just do that than accept this offer. It's time for Declan to leave and the fans are outraged. So let's cheer them up a bit, I guess, because my scouts have found Karim Konate. Now, I'm a little bit aware of this guy anyway, but they're coming back as an excellent signing because although he's not amazing right now, that potential is class. 5 stars compared to our team, and that's how the star ratings work. It's always comparison to your side. Now, he does have some weaknesses, and if you look at his attributes, they're obviously quite easy to detect. Only 13 off the ball and 12 composure, but like he has a lot of pace and agility, and I know my Football Manager. That is absolutely amazing. Blistering pace is really good, and he's fairly strong on his left, which is his weaker foot, very strong on his right. I think we've got to pull the trigger on this guy. So let's ask the agent for his availability. He won't be interested, of course. Which I don't think he has, because that's... I thought it was a bit strange. That's the Red Bull Salzburg Youth Academy. Says he's been on loan there twice, which I think is wrong. He moved from this club to Salzburg. He went there on loan, but not there. And you can see, so he's been there for 3 years. His current contract he signed in January, which is over 6 months ago. So I think that's a bug. Something, obviously, we're in early access. Something I'm going to report. All my new scouts have arrived now, so I can head to the recruitment focus and set them up to start searching for a new striker for me by the end of the window, as it's most definitely a priority for this season in my opinion. My backup option is to go for somebody like Wesley Said, who is a lot cheaper and can definitely do a job for me. However, I think I found my man. The scout report on Barbosa suggests that he is extremely doubtful about joining, but that's not exactly a no, and his agent is suggesting we can get a deal done however many extras he wants involved. Okay, fingers crossed this goes a lot better than the last one. If we offer a transfer, so they said up to £14.5 million. I'm going to take out the profit of next sale because I don't want to screw us over too much. They want 10 with 7.5 there, so normally you can go roughly about half of that. So let's suggest that we'll go and meet them close to that 14 mark. So maybe like 3.5 plus 10.5, 14 with that extra. Okay, that's accepted. That's a good start. There's also rumoured interest from Newcastle, but from what I'm aware at the start of the transfer window, they don't have a lot of money. He has doubts negotiating terms, feels there is currently a more appealing option in Newcastle. But, again, I don't think they have the money right now. He wants to have the number 9 shirt, that's fine. Advanced forward, I'd like to remove that because I see him as more of like a different type of forward, but we'll see though. Definitely don't want to bring in another player. Would he accept? Okay, he's good with that. He's good with that. Now it's just a contract. And to be honest, I mean, we can't muff around with it too much because there's not a lot of patience. But, I mean, there's a lot of bonuses. I get that there's a lot of bonuses. Can we remove that bonus and give him more money? Like 98. Is that going to really damage us? No. Okay, I'd rather do that because I think he's going to score a ton. And that would cost us more. No problem with the work permit, and Gabigol is now a hammer, and I'm delighted to bring him in, and hopefully he can spearhead our attack this season. Bad news for Kurt Zouma though, he pulled his knee ligaments and will miss the start of the season. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. He kicked too many cats, didn't he? He probably did. I shouldn't have said it. Pre-season hasn't gone too great. We have an incredibly difficult start with Manchester City, Aston Villa and Arsenal. I'm already having nightmares about this man. Alvarez joins the club just before the season kicks off, an exceptional player who can sit in front of that defence. But first game of the season is without Kudus and Ward-Prowse, who are still to join the club. We are rocking a slightly weakened team because of it, and of course the absence of Kurt Zouma, but Barbosa is straight in at number 9 in that deep line forward role. Now with the tactic, I haven't messed around too much with the player instructions. I think I've only actually added 2. It's just the box-to-box midfielder with Souček get further forward, because he's really good at that, like running late into the box. And with the striker, with Barbosa, more direct passes. He's very good at passing, so I think with like Bowen going in behind him, I think that could be a really good little play that we've got there. So outside of that, it is a custom vertical tiki-taka balance mentality. We're fairly narrow, but we are using the underlaps, work the ball into the box, standard tempo, shorter passing. We're counter and counter pressing, and out of possession, we are high press, but with a standard line, getting stuck in, more often trigger press. But it's Man City, so I'm not expecting too much. However, I should never have doubted the lads, and they played incredibly well, worked set pieces perfectly, and when Ben Rama's shot come back off the post, Gabigol was there to tap it in on his debut. And it was the only goal of the game too, and we thoroughly deserved that win. And I don't care that Erling Haaland was injured. Right after that match, Ward-Prowse joined, so it's time to really set up the set-piece routines. Because even though the corners are set to outswinger, I want James Ward-Prowse to be taking every single set-piece. Alongside our shock win, Luton held Chelsea to a draw, Arsenal battered Tottenham, and Liverpool defeated Manchester United on Monday evening. We had some money left over, and my scouts found a solid left back at Stuttgart from Japan called Hiroki Ito, who has everything I'm looking for and can fill in at centre back too if needed. So I approached his agent, who is also excited to get a deal done. A bid was accepted, and we were right into contract negotiations, and the player wasn't asking for too many bonuses, so I just tried to bring the weekly wage down just a tad, and we had ourselves a deal. But we faced late pressure with active interest coming in from Saudi Arabia. Gabigol gets himself into the team of the week. First time I've asked him without a single Manchester City player there. Aston Villa up next though, and Zouma returns with Ward-Prowse making his debut and Paqueta going up left. And it was another masterclass from West Ham in snatching 3 points from a 1-0 win, with James Ward-Prowse combining well with Paqueta to set up Souček. Considering we were away from home as well, we dominated the game too with 60% possession. We are flying right now with 6 points out of 6. 6, of course, with Bournemouth ahead of us alongside our next opponents, Arsenal, so that's going to be a tricky one. Man United beat Luton Town. We've got Man City getting their first win against Wolves this weekend, and then the big boys, they all picked up some wins as well. Other than Tottenham, who for some reason I think are just really underrated on this game so far. Another player in Mavropanos joins, and it could be time to also say goodbye to Mikel Antonio, who's 33 now and has interest from Burnley. And after gaining a work permit, we complete the signing of Hiroki Ito. With one more transfer to join in Kudus, it's time to pick our squad to face the Arsenal. And I'm being brave and changing both fullbacks with Ito and Mavropanos making their debut. And although we didn't win, we still have yet to concede a goal yet. 0-0. But I still can't get rid of Antonio, as clubs feel his wage demands are far too high. But Mohamed Kudus has joined, and now I have that problem that every manager wants to have. Where am I going to fit him in? Because let's be frank, he needs to be starting, I guess. And now we have an excellent midfield, and I don't quite know who to drop. Possibly Souček. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait and find out.